Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Dover International Speedway. You voted on the track tonight. We listened, and that is where we are coming to you live, right here on the Sim Racing Network, streaming to Joe Gibbs Racing's Facebook page, the iRacing Esports Network, and our own personal YouTube. John Mushton, as always, on the call with me here tonight. Mitch Rollo in the production van, getting the picture that you see to you. I am Ben Kilcrease. Thanks for joining us here on your off-season racing withdrawal session. We'll call for here for the Monday night. Here we go, John. The Monster Mile, though, here at Dover. Boy, the fans surprised us. We were thinking either it was going to be a rundown between Iowa and Darlington. We were prepared for both of those, and then you fans out there, man, you surprised us. You surprised everybody with your pick at Dover, but you made a good choice. We're gonna see a good show tonight.
Absolutely, Ben. I couldn't agree with you anymore. But I'm loving the choice, to be honest with you. Dover's actually one of my favorite tracks, especially in the Xfinity car. I've got a couple of victories here in the Xfinity car myself. It's a fun track to drive once you get the hang of it. It's one of those tracks that the professionals call a rhythm track, really. If the green goes long enough, we'll see some guys get into a nice rhythm on this track. Entries are going to be really kind of different for everybody, especially with this new dynamic lighting that tends to change track conditions on a regular basis. So I look forward to an exciting race tonight.
Speaking of the track conditions, let's take a look at the Interstate batteries weather at the track right now. 78 degrees air temperature, but John, that track temperature 109 with winds north at 2 miles per hour. That track temperature going to be the biggie with the partly cloudy skies here today. If we get some cloud cover, that'll cool the track down for a brief moment, but almost 110 degrees. That's going to cause for some slipping and sliding on corner exits here at the 1 mile speedway.
Yeah, I think it was old DW that said it once. It's slickery, slick and slippery, and that's what makes the driving so much fun on this track, though, Ben. Especially once get some grease down, some rubber is what I mean. But once those tires get greased up and get slick, these guys will be holding on to them for dear life, especially if we go on long green flag runs. As we've both seen in the past, the tires tend to give up and start sliding around. So this will be really exciting.
That it will. 100 laps, 100 miles here at Dover International Speedway for race number 3 in the Joe Gibbs Racing Offseason Sim Series powered by Interstate batteries. John, let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's starting lineup. Inside of row number 1, I talked to him before the race. He said, boy, I hope they pick Dover, and I think we know why. Trey Edson sets quick time here at the Monster Mile. To his outside, Mr. Excitement in the number 88, that's Jason Jacoby.
Bringing it back there in third on the inside of row 2, Chad Coleman in that 20 car. On his outside, the number 91 of Steve Gottschalk.
Nigel Standish will roll off inside of row number 3. It's starting 5th in the number 11. To his outside, it's the 72 of Harrison Weidlitz.
And folks, don't get confused. I'm about to tell you exactly who this is. This is Chad Cole. We have two drivers with very similar names in the field tonight. Chad comes in inside row 4 there. In the 82 car, and to his outside, Josh Parker in the 23 comes in 8.
Scott Simley and Tony Manji, 12 and 66 respectively, there will make up row number 5 and round out the top 10 as the rest of the starting grid, brought to you by RacingBids.com, scrolls across the bottom of your screen. Here we go, John. These drivers have got 15 minutes of practice here at Dover, and I can guarantee you most of them was practicing either Darlington or Iowa or a mix of the two because they didn't think Dover was even going to be a possibility. So not only are they learning the cars here at this track in the first handful of laps, they're learning each other's braking points, acceleration points, turn in, apexes, all of that. So it's going to be really interesting for the start, or for the first 20 or so laps of this race.
Absolutely. I'm wondering how many of these guys have never seen this track in iRacing before and understand how tricky these corners can be. It's should make for an interesting start, Ben.
It's going to be fun. 100 laps, and we're so glad you've tuned in. Be sure to share this video with your friends and family on Facebook, wherever you're tuning in tonight. If you're on the iRacing Esports Network over on YouTube, we thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe there and like the video. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and we'll try and get you a shout out across the spectrum that we're streaming to tonight. Boy, we're on a couple driver pages, the Joe Gibbs Racing Facebook page, iRacing Esports Network, and we're getting ready to get down and dirty with it here at the Monster Mile, the pace car to pit road. 100 laps on the board for the top drivers in Sim 500, and the top drivers in iRacing were underway in the JGR Off-Season Sim Series, powered by Interstate batteries, race number 3. And John, did you see the wheel spin there on the start?
Man, I'll tell you what, that was insane. And look at that jump that Edson got on Jacoby back there. In the meantime, back behind them, it's still single file back to 5th, where we got 2 wide. Not as exciting as I thought it was going to be for some of these guys. You had some wheel spin, but not too bad, Ben.
Yeah, they took it easy for sure on the first restart. Maybe once we get some laps in, and if we get a restart later in this race, we'll see them test the waters a little bit more there. Good battle just behind Chad Cole there between Gottschalk. He's up on the outside line and falling fast. Tony Manji trying to get around him there to 99.
Yeah, I don't think that outside line's quite ready to be competitive just yet. So you can see 91 jump down inside there and get down in line. And I think we're probably going to see a lot of single file for the first few laps, like you said, Ben, while these guys get used to the track and each other and where they each like to brake and go through these corners at.
As the run goes on, John, we'll see that outside line become more dominant in side-by-side situations because that bottom lane has to check up or cannot get the power down coming off the corners. And we might even see some of the faster guys jump up there and make a pass on the outside line. It's all up for grabs as we're slowly working on lap number 4 here of 100. This race very early on. Everybody just trying to find their rhythm here at Dover.
Absolutely, Ben. I tell you, I haven't been on Dover since the new build came out. It's been a little while, but one of my 2 victories, I had a guy coaching me on a line that was really kind of a unique line. You wide all the way out on the backstretch, but we go in kind of like the 10 does right there. Go in low and then let it wash up just a little bit up to that midline, then come back out low until the tires wore out. And then it was almost the exact opposite once tires wore out. I go in just a little bit high, arc it down low in the apex, and then kind of drift up and come out a little bit. But we'll see what goes on with this new tire build and the new build itself and all the dynamic lighting and whatnot and how it changes the track. We'll see how these guys run. In the meantime, I think Edson's lead's been cut down quite a bit by that 88 of Mr. Excitement Jason Jacoby back there.
It has 3.5 tenths last time by. This time by at the line, it's down to just under 3 tenths, almost 2.5 tenths. So Jacoby definitely closing the gap to that number 10 machine early on here at Dover. John, catching him is one thing, passing him, though, here at the Monster Mile, a completely different.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, Jacoby has had a rough several weeks here, just not here in the JGR series, but also over there in the Sim 500 series. He's been close to victory several times, only to have some really bad luck or maybe a pit road incident bite him in the butt. So, personally, I'm kind of pulling for the kid. He's a nice guy. I've talked to him a few times offline. I hope he pulls it together tonight. But he's like you said, he's got one thing to get up to Edson, and we both know how Edson drives. So once you get up to him, getting by him is going to be a whole different ordeal.
Harrison Widelets in that 72, a little bit further behind those guys, starting to drift back on the outside line. John caught up around the outside here at Dover. You see Chad Cole working to the inside on that number 82. Watch how close they get off turn 2 here. Man, it tightens up down the front and down the back straightaways.
Absolutely, man. The momentum the car carries come off the turns, carries it straight up to the wall, so you got to be real careful, which is like you said earlier, once we get some rubber down on that outside groove, that's going to be the place to be because that inside groove has to let up to make that car turn and to keep it off the wall as they come off the turn. If there's a car out there, he's going to lose some momentum while that car just keeps on going.
Absolutely, and up front, here we go, the battle for the lead shaking up between Jacoby and Edson. Jacoby has caught that number 10 machine. We mentioned it, though. It's going to be hard to pass early on with no rubber up on that outside groove. We're a tenth of the way through this race as we complete lap 10, working on 11 of 100 in the Joe Gibbs Racing Off-Season Sim Series, powered by Interstate batteries. You're watching it live on the Sim Racing Network, and incident on the back straightaway. Looks like he kept it straight.
Yeah, I believe that was the 11 car of Nigel Standish. Brought it out just a little too far there, like I talked about earlier. He rubbed a little extra paint off his car there. It looks like he's fine, though. Back up front, we've got quite the battle going on for that lead, it looks like, Ben. I look for Jacoby. He's probably going to have to move Edson out the way. I'm not saying wrecking, but he's probably going to get up there and get him just a little loose, get him to wash up a little bit to try and get under and make the pass.
Or you get up there, pressure him enough to make a mistake.
Absolutely.
And then make the move there. That's That's how a lot of these drivers like to work, almost throwing it back to Dale Earnhardt. And you got to intimidate them to move them up the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, you look up, you got a mirror full of this guy that everybody knows. He loves to race hard, and you see him coming, and you're not paying attention to your entry, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you've gone in too hard, and you're gonna wash up. So that's one way to do it. And we know how Jason Jacoby drives. He's a hard charger, man. I love that kid, the way he drives.
It's always fun to see. He always puts on a show, and these two guys out in front have opened up over 2 seconds to lead as we are still on board with Jason Jacoby as he is just breathing down the neck of Edson. Look how close he is down into 3 there, John. He's almost touching the bumper of Edson at the end of the straightaways.
Yeah, and I tell you what, watching his entry into 3 there, he loses just a hair of ground going through the middle, but really gets a good surge coming off the turn. That's very impressive. And now he's going to try and work that outside just a little bit. Look at him. He's peeking out there, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make that kind of a pass just this early in the race.
Boy, these guys are going at it, and Edson is doing everything he can to hold off the 88's charge, but Jacoby is doing everything he can to get around that 10. You see him peeking up. Watch him down in 1 and 2 here. If he goes to the outside line, he does. He's all over the bumper. He almost gave him a tap in the center of 1 and 2 there, John, and had to check up there. Lost a little bit of time, but not much. He's right back on the rear bumper again as we work lap 16 of 100 at the Monster Mile.
Watch this run. He's going to get coming up off of 4 right here. Man, he gets right up to the bumper going down into 1. You can't help but, oh, there you go. He got him to go up a little bit. Is he going to be able to make that pass, you think, Ben?
I don't know. Edson pinches him down off 2, and you see Jacoby, can't put the power down on that inside line. That's why he's been testing the waters on the outside line. You see Edson now moving up the racetrack. He knows he can fend off that 88. Charge on the inside, and man, these guys going at it for the lead early on here at Dover, putting on a show. Here comes Jacoby, a charge again. He washes up the racetrack, puts the hammer down off 2, and still cannot make the pass on that number 10 machine. It's a very methodic way. You have to plan it out here at Dover to make a pass.
Absolutely. You got to do it almost a couple laps in advance, Ben. And I tell you what, as hard as these guys are driving each other, it begs the question, what's this doing to their tires? We know tires are very important here at Dover. I can't help but think that they're going to wear each other out and wind up letting the rest of this pack catch back up to them here shortly.
Boy, Jacoby went about as high as anybody's been so far this race, and he got a good run down the back straightaway, so he might have found some speed way up the racetrack where he was at over in turns number 1 and 2. They both take the same line in 3 and 4 there. But, wow, what a race they're putting on. Jacoby, again, going to go to the higher groove there. Edson keeps it around the middle of the racetrack, turns it down off turn 2. Jacoby, he's flirting with that wall down the back straightaway.
You couldn't have put a piece of paper between him and the wall a minute ago. And I tell you what, though, he's trying everything he can to get past Edson and get that lead. But I just I don't see him doing it without getting a little rough.
Back behind them, some battles going on around the racetrack. It's a battle for 5th between Nigel Standish and Chad Cole, and just behind him, Tony Manji, Harrison Weidlitz, and Weidlitz is sideways, and he's going to curve, save it. He saved it somehow on the back straightaway.
He curve saved it, did he?
I thought
I'll
for
tell you
sure
what,
he was
there's
crashed.
about 15 drivers behind him, Ben, right now. They're checking to make sure they're still breathing.
Wow, what a close call there. And I was all but going to say he's crashed, but a magnificent save from the driver of the number 72, keeping us under the green flag here at Dover, and I don't think he's got that much damage on the 72. He'll be able to sort of regroup, cool his tires down, and make another charge.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the most damage he's got on that car is just his tires. He warmed them up pretty good there with that sideways slide, but I tell you what, that is an example of driver's craft right there. I don't see people get that loose at Dover and bring it back in. That was impressive.
Yeah, anybody not in this series. I mean, we've got the top drivers in all of online racing here. You take your Joe Blow, and they would have ended up whacking the inside safer barrier on the back straightaway. But a great save nonetheless, and he didn't lose too many positions, John. Just slipped out of the top 10 by a couple there. He sits 12th right now here at the Monster Mile. It's still Jacoby all over your leader up front, and these guys have been going at it for the past 20 laps, it seems, here in Dover, Delaware, and Jacoby just trying every inch on this racetrack to get a run on that 10 and to try and get around him.
Yeah, he has not given up pursuit of that lead at all in any way, shape, or form. Tires be damned. I don't think they're any more concerned about tires right now than the next guy down. They've maintained that little over 2-second lead over Chad Coleman back there in third for a good 15, 20 laps now, and we're just a little bit past the quarter-way mark. Again, this week I didn't really do a whole lot of research, so I'm not real sure what the fuel window has been. Do you have any idea on that?
I don't know. We were pretty prepared for, Iowa. We kind of had an idea there. We had an idea of Darlington, and Dover was just, again, on the fan vote side of things. We didn't think it would swing this way. A lot of these drivers weren't prepared. They didn't go out and do a full tire run or a full fuel run. So a lot of these guys are for the first time in a couple months experiencing what these Toyota Camrys are, the Xfinity cars, are doing for the first time on a long run. So that's really shaking things up, and it's taken, like I said, it'd probably take a fifth or so of the race for these guys to get a grip on how this car is going to handle on the long runs.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on that one, Ben. It looks almost to me like Edmonds pulling out a little bit there on Jacoby. Not sure if Jason just decided to take it easy or if he's finally wore the tires off that car. But last time, the lap before that, it was just a 9/1000th of a second, 1 car length barely, and now he's got almost a 3 car length lead over him going down here into 3 and 4. So I'm guessing Jacoby is still trying to figure out a way to get around him without wrecking each other.
He could be cooling his stuff off to make a charge later in this run, or he could be, just hanging back and taking a break for a moment and saying, okay, I'll let you run your stuff off, Trey, and I'll come catch you in a lap or so. But nonetheless, the 88 slipping back here later in this run. And, John, keep your eye on that number 20 machine, Chad Coleman. He's bringing Josh Parker, Nigel Standish, and Chad Cole with him. These guys all in that little group right there are superb at saving tires and are great long-run drivers. Just keep your eye on them over the course of this run if we go another 20 or 30 laps here at Dover.
Absolutely, Ben. It's a great point. One of our viewers, Mark Crichton, he points out that he's pretty sure it's 40 laps on tires, 40-ish on fuel. So maybe sometime in the next 10 to 15 laps we'll start seeing some green flag pit stops. And last week, that was the bane of many of these drivers' race, was green flag pit stops.
Absolutely. So we don't want to see any of that. It was in the Ford Entertainment Group series over at Sim 500 competition that saw green flag pit stops, make some drivers' night and ruin many others. Actually, Chad Coleman, who runs third in the race, he ended up going on to win the race at Michigan this past Tuesday night. And John, he went through the infield after missing pit road and was able to survive the rest of the race and just slowly but surely picked his way back up to the front and was there when the time counted at the end of the thing. And he's looking pretty good tonight, sitting in third, and he's kept that gap about 2 seconds this whole run. And I've personally raced with Coleman, and I know he does this on purpose. He sits back there, he lets the 2 leaders just run out and try and extend their lead, and he just keeps that consistent gap. And then as soon as he's ready to turn on the boosters, he does so, and he starts reeling them back in. So we'll keep an eye on him over this run, and especially when pit stops begin to take place here at Dover. But nonetheless, just in front of your leaders, we have got a plethora of lap machines that they're going to have to deal with, and I guarantee you that'll shake things up between the top 2. Jacoby will close back up to the bumper of that 10 and maybe try and use one of these lap cars as a pick.
Absolutely, and I've also got another observation to drop on here, buddy. Your man that you were talking about there, Chad Coleman, 2 seconds back, 2.062. But in the meantime, Josh Parker, Standish, Cole, those guys are dropping back to almost 3 seconds back. So I think you hit on a pretty good point there. Coleman is not letting the leaders get away, but he's not falling back either. He's just taking his time, biding his time, and now we got lap traffic fixing to play a part in this. I'll tell you what, Ben, I wouldn't be surprised if Coleman was up there with Jacoby and Edson before this is over with, looking to make his bid for the lead there.
Boy, Nigel Standish is going to give up the 4th position to Chad Coleman. Got wicked loose off turn number 2. Was able to save it somehow. Only lost a little bit of ground. He gave the 5th position away, not the 4th. So Cole going to jump up to 4th, move Standish back to 6th on the leaderboard. And here we go up front. Edson going to catch the first pair of lap machines. They're going to go to the outside. That's John Wilco in the 97. He's going to catch him right on corner exit, and that is not good for the leader.
That is a scary place, yeah.
You see how much Jacoby closes up on him. Down into turn number 1. Same deal again here. And it's going to be tight for Jacoby this time. Off 2. Wow. These guys threading through lap traffic.
I've been looking at some lap times also, Ben. They start off on lap 1. 23.4 on lap 2 there, excuse me, was the fastest lap for Jacoby, and this last time by was a 25.3. So they're definitely losing a lot of rubber on these tires, a lot of speed there. I wouldn't be too surprised if we start seeing some people duck in here. We're on lap 40 coming to the line right next time by. Lap cars or not, we're going to start seeing some guys ducking down pit road trying to get some new rubber on here and get fueled up.
Absolutely. So looking at a 2-second drop off, and John, if I'm one of these crew chiefs and I know we can make it to halfway and only pit one time, then that's going to be my plan. Come down, split it right dead smack in the middle on lap 50 of 100. Come down, and that'll be a stop of the race, and close call in front of the leader.
Yep, a car up there, one of the lap cars, one of the slower cars, got into the outside wall on exit there just a little bit. That's got to make your heart stop as a race leader when you see that happen. But he didn't check up a whole lot. He's still pushing forward through this lap tracking. But he's got Jacoby right on his tail there, also coming through. It looks like Jacoby wiggled a little bit. I'm telling you, these tires are starting to give up on him. It's making life a little more interesting for him.
That it is. As you see, Jacoby, we were kind of expecting him to close up on Edson in the traffic, but Jacoby hasn't caught that big a break, or a bigger break that he needed to make some ground up on those guys back here at the back of the pack. So nonetheless, Edson going to open up his lead after dealing with the lap traffic. Jacoby falling back about 15-20 car lengths now. Here at the Monster Mile, we worked 42 of 100, and we could see pit stops just around the corner. Doug Sigmund will be the next driver to go a lap down. And let's check in on Boris, our pre-race host in the number 63. John, he sits 25th right now, and he's in a nice little battle back here with a group of cars. Looks like he's going to come to pit road. Did he practice this in pre-race? Oh, looked pretty good.
Yeah, real good entrance there. He got under pit speed right at the nick of time. I tell you what, those socks have got to be an advantage for him. Sushi sock he's got on today, man.
Sushi socks. How about that? I can't wait to see what he's going to wear for when we go dirt racing, when we come back from the Christmas vacation.
Wow, it got cloudy out there, Ben. Look at that.
So that's going to cool the track down a little bit if we continue to see the clouds stay over the racetrack for a little bit. But how about this gaggle of cars right behind Chad Cole in the 82? Some lap cars, some on the lead lap, trying to thread their way around. Boy, we're getting to that point of the race, John, where these tires are. It's really getting hard to control these cars to begin with, and when you put them in 2 and 3 wide situations, it's definitely a heart stopper.
I think hairy is the word you're looking for there, Ben. Absolutely. These cars are wiggly loose now, and it's like driving on oil out there in some parts of the track. But I'm looking at these lap times. I'm looking at these guys that are still out on the track. I think you hit on something there. I think a lot of these guys are thinking one-stop race. We'll see if that works out for them, because here we are already on lap 47 coming to line, and looks like we got somebody passing Jacoby up to 71 there. I think he just came off pit road with new tires. That's Brooks. So, yeah, new tires are going to make a world of difference as far as lap speed here goes, Ben. We'll see a lot of guys that looks like they're just flying on rockets out there.
Absolutely, and that's something that the guys on older tires will have to deal with over the next couple of laps until they get to the pit road. How about Chad Cole looking to the inside of Josh Parker? There was almost contact for that 4th spot, and Chad Cole in the 82 sideways off 4 trying to get that position. He's bringing Nigel Standish in the 11 with him. That's a good 3-car battle for a spot just outside of the podium, and those guys have been going at it for almost all race as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting little fight going on back there, considering these cars are real slippery right now. These tires are, excuse me. And I tell you what, it's a brave man that at this point in the race says, I'm going to take you inside and see if I can't pass you right now, like he's fixing to try going down into one.
We'll see how well it works out for Cole to the inside. He slides up the racetrack to get that apex coming off. And look at Parker. There's contact between the two for fourth. Parker really put the pinch on him.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Took that little bit of room off of him so he couldn't let it drift up a little bit there. And they take initially the same line through 3 and 4 they took through 1 and 2 last time by. And the 23 is going to get the momentum on the outside with the run and be able to pull back out front and maintain his spot.
My, oh my. So a little contact there for fourth. John, this track is similar to a short track in some instances. It's a mile long, and these guys are almost 170 miles an hour at the end of the straightaways, but it drives almost identical to some of the half miles you see all around the United States.
I heard one driver one time remark that it's like a steroided out Bristol.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I'll tell you what, Ben, here we are. Lap 51, our leaders have taken the flag on lap 51. Come to lap 52 now, so we're past the halfway point, and they still have not hit pit road. So I'll tell you what, you hit it on the nail, buddy. A one-stop race for a lot of these guys.
Absolutely, as close call there for Standish as Doug Sigmund was trying to get out of their way in that battle for fourth, which is just continuing to rage on, and it looks like we have a car off the pace on the front straightaway, Tony Manji. And look at this, there's a three-way battle with Boris involved in that number 63. They get it all sorted back out, but boy, those guys are duking it out back there for 12th with Standish and I'm sorry, that's not Standish. Standish is on pit road is what I meant to say, Simley in the 12. But here we go, John. The first couple of guys coming down pit road. You see Nick Silver there, Harrison Weidlitz, and Nigel Standish all down pit road here on lap 53 at Dover. You see Edson still though out on the racetrack. Jacoby has come down pit road in the 88, so that'll give him a slight advantage. So I can expect we'll see Edson down this lap in that number 10.
Absolutely. I think he's coming in now, actually. Yep, here he comes now. That leaves Coleman on the track, and Coleman's coming in behind him. And Coleman made up a lot of room coming down into the pit road there. So coming off pit road, these two will be fighting with each other, and Jacoby, it looks like, for the lead once this all cycles out.
Yeah, it's going to set us up for a good battle once it all cycles out. And the thing you have to worry about, John, and you told me not to mention it, but I'm going to have to, is with these different strategies, people pitting, coming off of pit road, coming onto pit road, you got to watch out for a caution while you're down pit road. That would be almost a race-ending occurrence for some of these drivers,
especially right now with the leader and Cole on pit road. At least you wait past lap 1, Ben. I'm proud of you. I really am.
Oh, and Simley gets a bumper in the 12 there, sideways, but saved it. And he says, I've had enough, I'm going to pit road.
I'm sure that was quite the wake-up call for him there. That's what we were talking about earlier, Ben. When a car on really old tires is still on the track and you got a car on brand new tires, sometimes that closure rate catches that guy behind a little off guard. And it also looked like somebody might have got a little bit loose there. I don't think it was entirely a contact that got him like that, but it all worked out for the better, and we got him on pit road getting some new tires now.
So we wait for everything to sort of cycle around here at Dover International Speedway. So glad you've tuned in with us tonight on the Joe Gibbs Racing Facebook page and the iRacing Esports Network, and on our YouTube, the Sim Racing Network. It's the round number 3 in the Joe Gibbs Racing Off-Season Sim Series. We're just past halfway. This series powered by Interstate batteries. Just by halfway here at Dover, the Monster Mile. The fans voted for Dover. Boy, we were kind of surprised by that. We were expecting either Darlington or Iowa after seeing the great race we saw at Iowa there in the qualifier. But this race, John, has not disappointed. These guys have been duking it out all race long. We've seen some fantastic racing from the Monster Mile.
And don't look now, Ben, but Jason, Mr. Excitement Jacoby, snagged the lead away from Edson on pit road and has quite a substantial lead on Edson. Once the rest of the field that hasn't pitted yet, does so and it shakes out, it looks like Jacoby's going to have a pretty decent lead over Edson.
Yeah, so just confirming he does not have the lead right now.
No, I'm sorry if I confuse anybody on that.
Yeah, anything could happen if a caution comes out right now. Brian Macklin, who has stayed out on the racetrack, he's in good shape. He would take the lead of this race, and he would just run away with it the best he could in that number 30 machine. He's still 1 lap ahead of Jason Jacoby. So Jacoby is a lap down in 6th. He is in the lucky dog position. We have 5 drivers that have not pitted yet. Take that back,
Ben. Actually, I think Sigmund and Lockhart did pit, but they just pitted really early.
Could be. We'll double check on those.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Sigmund is down pit road right now. So there goes Sigmund. That'll put Jacoby back on the lead lap as he gets around Brian Macklin. But nonetheless, 4 drivers still on the lead lap: Macklin, Jett, Gaboo, and Lockhart.
It looks like, wow, look at that gaggle. No, I didn't mean to walk on. There's a gaggle of cars. I was just getting a report from pit road that the 99 got hit with a speeding penalty. That's Tommy Ryan. That's going to hurt.
That it is. He'll fall back most definitely outside of the top 20. We'll see once everything cycles around. Still got a couple guys on mixed strategies out on the racetrack trying to maybe catch a caution. One of those, Brian Macklin in the number 30. Right in front of him, it's the Jonathan Lockhart machine. He is scored 8th right now. He's trying to catch a caution to gain some track position. Jacoby, Edson, and Standish and Chad Cole now have all found themselves back on the lead lap. And there was almost a crash with your leader, Brian Macklin.
Oh, yeah, look at that gaggle of cars he's in now. This is hairy for a driver, especially when you're the leader of the race. Most everybody on the track got better tires than you. You're just trying to stay out of the way and hope for a caution, but you also don't want to be the caution.
Absolutely. So Macklin he's going to push his car, John, as long as he can on those tires and hope for a caution, because now if we get a caution, all those guys that just took tires, they're going to come back down, and here comes Macklin.
He's finally going to leader on the pit road. Oh, I think he was too fast there. It looked like we'll find out here in a minute. But man, that was cutting really close. It looked like I was watching his speed as he came down across the line there, and it was close.
So that's going to give the lead to Rich Jett in that number 77. Haven't talked about him much tonight as he's another one of those guys just hoping for a caution. He and Chris Gaboo still out on the racetrack, and Jett's going to make another lap or so as the leader, and Jacoby continuing to eat away at his lead, only 12 seconds back right now, or last time by, and he'll probably close that to under 10 this time with those new tires. So Jett is running out of time if he's going to get a caution to save himself from having to pit.
I'm telling you, Jacoby's making up almost 2 seconds a lap on Jett and Gibo, or I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Gibo. Yeah, he's making up almost 2 seconds a lap on those guys. So if I'm them, I'm hitting pit road soon.
Oh, but there's a car in the wall. It's Callan Tony up in turn number 2. He was able to get it back off the wall and saves it. But boy, we've had some close calls here in the last couple of laps.
Still can't believe we've gone all this way, man. Lap 68. No caution, knock on wood. But it's looking great out there. I tell you what, we've got so many different strategies been on tires and fuel that I don't even know who to look at now.
So as soon as these final 2 drivers on the racetrack, Gaboo and Jett, as soon as they and there's a caution. Caution is out. Caution is out.
That's what they wanted to see right there.
And the caution is going to be for possibly the number 30 machine. It is. It's Brian Macklin.
Oh, our former leader, the guy who stayed out for the longest time there for a while.
And yeah, he just got loose out of 4 here, John, and that could be a product. These guys get so used to driving their car on the old tires that once they get new tires on the thing, it handles completely different. And that could have been the case there for Macklin as he spins it out here at Dover, bringing out the first caution of the night and handing Rich Jett the lead. And boy, talk about catbird seat for the number 77 and for the number 1 of Chris Gaboo.
Is pit road open and they didn't come down?
No, they're on pit road right now. Leaders are down on pit road, and the cars you see on the racetrack, John,
I was looking at the wrong car.
The cars that have not gotten their lap back, so they're going to be trying to get the wave around.
Right.
And a lot of these guys won't, with the wave around position, John, they won't be able to stop for tires. So that'll certainly throw a kink in their strategy on this restart. My, oh my, how about this race, though? It has changed the face, that caution did. Caution number 1 comes 70 laps after the initial green flag and just 30 laps shy of the finish.
And I tell you what, mistakes on pit road, these guys got to get in and get out without making any mistakes at all. And that's going to be key to winning this race for those guys. So Jacoby's off pit road out in front of Edson, and it looks like Rich Jett won the race off pit road.
It's actually Gaboo. Gaboo wins the race off pit road into one machine, so he'll lead us back to the green flag alongside that number 77. Jacoby will restart third, fourth to Edson and Chad Cole. Going to round out the top 5 here. My, oh my. So we'll take a quick break to remind you fans tuning in on the Joe Gibbs Racing Facebook page and the iRacing Esports Network that we take the next couple weeks off for the Christmas and New Year's break here in the JGR Off-Season Sim Series powered by Interstate Batteries. But the second week in January, we come back for Dirt Midget Racing. How about that? And
our very own Ben Kilcrease may be, we haven't confirmed it yet, but Ben, we heard you might be climbing in behind the wheel on one of those bad boys.
I might do it. We might, me and Joey, Jatina, the league owner at Sim 500, who organizes a lot of this behind the scenes here. Me and him might be trading spots. So he might give up his seat. I might give up my seat. So we'll just have to see. We'll wiring out the details, but nonetheless, that'll be fun if it does happen.
That should be real fun.
You'll have an awesome in-race reporter, I can tell you that.
Yes, absolutely.
Back to Dover, though. Boy, this restart's going to be wild, John. You have 2 of these guys that have just played the strategy right tonight, and they are going to restart on the front row. Chris Gaboo started 20th. Rich Jett started 30th in this race, and they now lead here at Dover. Gaboo leads, Jets at second. So I nothing against these guys, but they certainly don't have the speed.
They roll the dice.
Yeah, they roll the dice, but under green they don't have the speed that Jacoby and Edson do, because Edson and Jacoby are just blistering fast here at the Monster Mile. So they're going to have to be patient trying to get around these guys, and hopefully we don't see any contact. But nonetheless, we mentioned earlier, it's like a short track in some cases, so the bumpers are not out of question, especially at this point of the race, John. We're under 30 to go. We'll restart this thing with 27 laps to go at the Monster Mile.
And let's not forget, it's a self-cleaning racetrack. What we mean by that, folks, is when a car spins out up high, he's going to wind up down low, but down by the fence. So if one of these guys gets moved or gets out of shape in any way, shape, or form and spins up front, we're liable to see a very large accident where the track gets completely blocked up. But hey, let's hope that doesn't happen. The pace car's about to duck in here, Ben, and we're going to get it going.
Did you just mention the big one?
No, I did not. I did not. That's a figment of your imagination, sir. Here we go.
Pace car to pit road. 27 laps to go, separating one of these drivers from a win in round number 3 in the JGR Off-Season Sim Series, powered by Interstate Batteries. Gaboo banging the gas. We're back underway. And that second row, dropping back as they enter turn number 1. Boy, Edson tried to make it 3 wide with Rich Jett. Jett closed the gap. Jacoby up to second and trying to chase down your leader.
I tell you what, that was a great start. And Mr. Excitement back there in third place now takes second place away. Behind him, though, we've got quite a grudge match going for, oh, wow, that guy washed up really high there for that third spot. I don't think that outside line's ready yet for these guys on new tires there, Ben.
I don't think so. I think the outside line better in the once the tires have got some wear on them. Earlier in the run, though, that bottom lane is where you want to be. Challenge for the lead. Here comes Jacoby to the inside of the number 1.
Jacoby wastes no time getting down the inside, going down here into turn 3 and 4. Coming up, he's going to pull him, it looks like, on the inside, take over the lead. He's bringing the 82 car with him of Coleman. And I tell you what, Edson's back there itching to get by these guys so he can get back up there and fight for the lead as well.
Boy, Edson was pushing Chad Coleman down the front straightaway. Looks like it may be a replay of that on the back straightaway. Edson says we can't let Jacoby get too far out in front of this thing. He's got some good short run speed, and that's exactly what we're up against right now, a short run to the finish at the Monster Mile.
That clean air on the nose of the 88 of Jacoby makes all the difference in the world right now. He's got nobody to slow him down. He's got all the downforce he needs on the front of that car. In the meantime, Edson's got a car in front of him that makes him just a little arrow tight. Ooh, and the 4th place car is in the wall back there. It doesn't look like it slowed him down too much, but you got to really pay attention to that. Nigel doesn't want to get hard into that wall. He's going to wind up taking himself out.
That was Nigel Standish in the number 11 as the battle for 5th is going to go on. It's going to be a quick one between Josh Parker and Chris Gaboo. Gaboo drops back to 6th, and even if he can, salvage a top 10 position here, John, that would be a great run for that number 1 who rolled the dice on pit strategy.
Absolutely. I can't help but wonder, do we have confirmation that he took 4 tires? It almost seems like he took 2 the way his car is driving right now.
He did beat the 77 off pit road, but I do believe, especially with 70 or so more laps on your left sides, I'd have to take 4, but we can confirm that here shortly as the battle just behind them now. Chad Coleman, he had a issue on those green flag pit stops. He had to, lost a little bit of time in that number 20 coming off pit road, and he's mired back in the now 7th position, trying to work his way back through the field, trying to get back to a top 5 position.
In the meantime, back up front, the 88 of Jacoby has got a very comfortable half a second lead there over the number 82 of Chad Cole. Edson still has not figured out a way around Chad Cole. In the meantime, behind him, Standish is kind of picking his pace back up, trying to gather himself back up after brushing that wall earlier. He might make a fight for 3rd here shortly.
Certainly could, as we are now under 20 to go here at Dover International Speedway, and Jacoby leads by just about a half a second over Chad Cole and Trey Edson. Do they have anything for him in the final, now 19 laps of the race? 19 to go, Ben, and I tell you what, I'm really liking what I'm seeing with the 88 car. He's very smooth in, smooth off, smooth out. He's not pressing that car too hard. I'm looking at his lap times. He's not really blazing any lap times here, so I think he's, now he's got a nice, comfortable lead. He's going to try and save his car as much as he can for when somebody does get up challenging. In the meantime, back there in 3rd place, I'm watching Edson, and it's like I can see him in the cockpit scratching his head, trying to figure out how's he going to get past this guy, because he knows he's faster than the 82. He's been faster than the 82 all race long. How much time does he want to waste back there, you think? I don't know. If I'm him, I'm trying to get past that guy as soon as possible. I don't want the 88 to get too far away from me. Yeah, running out of time, and Jacoby is extending his lead lap by lap. The thing we have to look at, John, is Edson has not had to really deal with a lot of dirty air tonight. He's been out in front of this field for a good portion of the race, so this is the first time he's having to, ride behind somebody, challenge somebody for position, and that could be throwing a loop for the driver to number 10.
Absolutely, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one, Ben. And another thing to think about, I don't think they're going to have enough time for low traffic playing this. I don't see maybe one car up there ahead of Jacoby that they'll have to deal with. I don't know if they're going to get into a whole gaggle of cars like we saw earlier in that long green flag run. We'll see, I guess, but I just don't think Edson can waste a whole lot of time trying to get around that 82 car, and he can't depend on slower traffic to do it for him either. Absolutely,
and Jacoby continuing to extend that lead down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Boy, he has had a up and down season, mostly down, and he has been looking for that win here in Sim 500 competition for about the last 2 or 3 months, as we're on board with him as he works his way through turn number 1. Smooth in, smooth out, and he's opening up that lead more and more. And wow, that was a close call in front of him there. Gail Brooks in the number 71 up and into the wall, slowed down, and it's going to get real tight off turn 4 for your leader. He has to check up to get around the lap machine.
See, this is what I'm talking about, Ben. Every week I say something, and these guys do the exact opposite. Yeah, they're not going to hit lap traffic. Duh. Anyway, Jacoby handled that really well, though. He was able not to panic. when he saw that slower car out there, and maintains a pretty significant lead over the 82. But he did lose a little bit of ground to the 82. But in the meantime, back there behind the 82, still have the 10 of Edson, and behind him, Nigel Standish in fourth.
I was going to ask John, how much as a driver does that throw you off a rhythm? You know, if you run up on a lap car like that on one of the corner exit, how long does it take you to get back into a rhythm? How long does it take you to shake that off and continue what you were doing before?
Well, you have to make it quick. I mean, that's happened to me a couple of times. One of my wins at Dover, actually, I got into the back of a lap car. He washed up a little higher than I thought he would coming off a 2. And I got square into his bumper and wound up putting him down on the inside wall. I didn't mean to, but it's a hazard. And it rattles you, man. It rattles you for several laps, especially if you actually make, like that. He almost made contact with that lap car, almost the exact same way I had my problem. So it's just something that really, it's a hazard.
And Chad Cole is loving it. Here comes the 82. 11 laps to go at the Monster Mile. Can the 82 catch the 88? Boy, look at Standish for third. All the way on the apron in turn 1, battling Trey Ensign.
Edson sending in there, man. That car got in the wall back there. That lap car that Jacoby was fighting with earlier. I believe it was 29. Yeah, that's a Welton back. He got to the wall there and almost got himself out of control there. But yeah, that I don't know what happened to Edson. If he just sitting in there on purpose like that or what, but he washed up a lot and almost gave Standish a shot at the inside there.
So Chad Cole is starting to close that gap. It's now 10 to go, 9.5 as they work down the back straightaway here at Dover. Is he going to have enough time to get to the bumper of the 88? There's a couple of lap cars that they may get into before the finish of this race. 9 laps to go in Delaware, and he is closing about 3/100ths a lap. That's about a half a car length, so you got to pick up the pace.
Right now, Jacoby is his own worst enemy out there on that track. Everything that can go wrong is going through his mind right now. He's got to put that out of his head and focus on getting into these corners and getting off these corners the same way he's been doing for the last 20 laps. And right here, getting by this pace, this lap car, that's a little off the pace, that's going to shake him up a little bit, but it looks like he's going to do a pretty fine job of getting by there. The 82 car waits no time getting on the inside of the 14 there. So like I was saying, though, Ben, he's got to get all that out of his head. He's got to focus on just being as smooth as he can, smooth off, without making any mistake.
I think he's going to have clear ground, at least for about 5 laps. We've only got 7 to go, so if he catches these 2 cars in front of him, hang on, Chad Cole may have a shot. Chad Cole still might have a shot. Nonetheless, look at him over in turn number 2, John. We don't need telemetry. We can see that gap with our eyes starting to close.
Absolutely. I owe that 82 team an apology. I didn't think they had the speed to keep up with Jacoby. They have proven me wrong. They are running down that 88 car. And I tell you what, if Jason doesn't wake up and look in his mirror and see that he's losing ground and start doing something about it, he's going to have a fight on his hands for that lead here shortly.
We all know Chad Cole, I do believe, finished runner-up in the Trans Service Monday Money Series at the Sim 500 Racing League. He is one of the top drivers in all of iRacing. He knows how to save his equipment. He knows how to make an run at the end of a race. He's only got 5 laps to do it, though, here in this one. And he is, he's just not closing quick enough, John. I don't think he's going to get there without a mistake from that 88.
I think you're right, Ben, but look at this right here. John Wilco in the number 97 car, way off the pace right there. He's gonna poke his, not poke his nose in there, but he's going to be a factor in this chase for the lead. And just in front of him, just in front of Jacoby now is the 98 of Steve Herring. That's another lap car. I'm very certain that they're going to catch these guys. So, again, lap traffic may play a part in the finish of this race.
Jacoby opened up a little bit that time at the line. Chad Cole, though, still within striking distance. Here comes Herring. Herring, a very veteran and sportsmanlike move, slows up in the middle of the turn, lets them clear before the exit. Now, 3 to go for Jason Jacoby.
I'm telling you what, right now, Jacoby is his own worst enemy, man. I've been where he is, and you just got to somehow convince your mind to shut the hell up and let me drive. That's what it gets down to, basically.
But here comes Cole. Boy, he's closing in. We're coming to 2 to go this time by at the Monster Mile. Does Chad Cole have anything left? And there's a caution.
And that's going to be the race right there, man. I hate to see that. I mean, I'm happy for Jacoby taking his first win in the series, but, man, I really think Cole had something for him there in the last couple of laps.
Absolutely. Caution out. for only the second time here tonight and on the iRacing service. We don't have green-white checkers, so this one going to end under pacing, and that is, man, that's a sour circumstance as we've had quite a few of these. Ben. Under
Steve Myers, if you're watching our broadcast, which I really think you should, fix this. We need green-white checkers.
Nonetheless, Jason Jacoby going to get the white flag this time by here at Dover International Speedway, and this race going to finish under pacing. But boy, I don't think Jacoby minds how this race finishes.
Not at all. He's
going to cross that line
I'm happy
first.
For Jason Jacoby right now, man. Mr. Excitement finally gets him one, huh? Can you imagine what this interview is going to be like, Ben? I'm kind of jealous of you, buddy.
It's going to be fun as Chad Cole, man, he was kind of hoping it would go green there. And I don't know if he would have got to the bumper of the 88 or not. He was certainly starting to close. I think right there at 3 to go, he kicked the boosters on and was trying everything he could. But that was going to be fun to see nonetheless in those final 3 laps. But the caution comes out, and it's going to end it. Pretty much at the time of caution. So Cole will finish second. Trey Edson, who led a majority of this race, over half of the race, he'll end up finishing third. Good run for Nigel Standish. He'll come home fourth, and Josh Parker going to finish fifth here at Dover. Final time through 3 and 4, though, for Jason Jacoby.
I'll tell you what, I'm so happy for that kid right now. He's a great guy. I've talked to him several times on Facebook, offline and whatnot. Off the sim, I should say. Great guy, real nice kid. Got a good head on his shoulders, and he loves the race, man. He's shown it to us, Ben, several times over these last few weeks in both of these series, how much he loves to race, and he races as clean as he possibly can, but he races very hard, very reminiscent of a certain black number 3 that we used to watch years and years ago.
Absolutely. It's now official. Jacoby, winner in round number 3 at Dover. We'll talk to him and the rest of the podium finishers in just a moment as we watch him circle around this 1 mile speedway. I can almost guarantee you what's coming up next, John.
Yeah, they don't want to miss. They don't want to miss this interview that's coming up, guys. If you're going to take a break, go to the commercial and come back.
Jacoby going to burn him down on the front straightaway, though. First, We'll go silent here in the booth. We'll watch him. We'll watch this burnout from the 88 machine. And then we'll talk to him shortly. So Jason Jacoby burning them down here at the Monster Mile, and John Mushton has worked down to pit road, and he's going to catch up with the driver who finished third tonight, the driver that led a majority of this race. John?
That's right, Ben. I'm down here with Trey Edson, driver of the number 10 car. Trey, I know this is not where you wanted to finish tonight, man. You led a majority of this race tonight, but a third place still ain't bad, man. Talk to me about your race tonight, buddy.
Third's it's a good night. Just a little mad at myself for the green flag pit stops. I don't know if that 1 lap difference made that big of a difference for Jason, or if I was just too easy getting on a pit road. I know this pit road's tricky, so I tried to take it easy, but I might have went too easy. And then on worn tires, I didn't want to slide through my box, and I think I took it a little easy getting into my stall. So I just threw away a bunch of time, and I kind of knew I was in a bad spot when he got by me. I didn't think we had enough laps left for me to run him back down on speed, and it took about 30 to 35 laps for me to start pulling him away with saving my tires. So just kind of knew I kind of threw that one away. And then the restarts, I don't want to talk down on competition, but I think they know they weren't at the front all night long, so just kind of got bottled up on the restart. They're not used to it, I guess. The best way I can put that. They're great people. They just didn't really, you know what I mean. I don't know how to politely say it. I don't want it to come out wrong. So I think people know what I'm trying to say.
There you have it, folks. Trey trying to be politically correct and nice. You don't see that in a driver very often, but hey, Trey, still, man, a really good run. Third place was nothing to shake a stick at, buddy. Is there anybody you want to thank for your run tonight?
Yeah, just thank you guys for putting this on. Joey and Sim 500, and then Boris and Interstate Batteries and Joe Gibbs Racing, all them. It's a fun deal to be a part of. I like the qualifying races on Thursday. It's different, and then I wouldn't say they're sprint races, but they're not crazy long. So it's fun. It's a fun series to be a part of them. I'm glad we get 2 weeks off. But the next one's gonna be fun. I might end up on my lid or outside the racetrack. I don't know where I'm gonna land, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that is Trey Edson, of course, referring to our dirt midgets that we're coming up to next. Folks, please tune in for that. You will not be disappointed. Trey, thank you for your time, my friend. Congratulations on our third place run. I'm going to throw it back up to the booth to Ben while I go track down our second place driver, Chad Cole.
Thank you, John. Edson, looking forward maybe to the dirt. He doesn't know what's going to happen. Another driver that was looking forward to racing this thing out at the end is caught up now with John Mustian. That's Chad Cole. John, what's he got to say about the race?
Well, Ben, let's find out. Chad Cole, John Mustian here, man. Buddy, I owe you and your team an apology. I kind of wrote y'all off on that last restart. I didn't think you had anything for Jacoby, but my friend, you were looking great out there running him down. I think if it had gone green, you'd have probably had something for him. You looked like you were a lot better through the center of the turn than he was. Talk to me about your run tonight, bud.
No offense taken. I was about to write myself off there, too, with being surrounded with Trey and all those other guys chasing me down. I don't know. I feel like sometimes in these races, I just spend the first about 2/3 of the race learning the track and what to do. And I was trying to search around a little bit there at the end, and Trey kind of poked in the bottom there. So I went back to the bottom and ended up, I realized I was actually gaining on Jacoby just a hair maybe. So I was just trying to continue to slow roll the bottom, and the caution came out with 2 to go. I don't, even if I got there, I'm not sure I would have had anything. I mean, for him, I would have needed a pretty big screw up on his part to get around him. So, I mean, we'll take second. I'm pretty happy with the effort tonight. Had a couple of good pit stops there on pit road, and was able to pick a couple cars off that way too. So that's always good when you can do that.
Well, Chad, I'll tell you what, man. Like I said, you looked like you were doing a lot better through the middle of the turn there towards the later part of that run. Congratulations again on a second place finish. Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I gotta thank Sim Racing Network for the broadcast that you guys do. It's always fun to go back and watch a race after a broadcast, and you guys do a good job with that. Really great commentary and video quality too. So it's great to have you guys on board for that. Gotta thank Joey and Boris and everybody at JGR and Interstate Batteries for putting this program on once again. It's really a cool thing to be a part of, and I've been sim racing for 18 years now, I guess, and it's definitely the coolest thing I've ever been a part of.
I have to wholeheartedly agree with you there, Chad. Thank you for your time, my friend. Ben, that was Chad Cole, our second place driver tonight. I believe you're heading down to Victory Lane for the Old Schools Graphics and Designs Victory Lane interview with Jason, Mr. Excitement Jacoby, and I cannot emphasize this enough, Ben. I'm really jealous of you right now.
Well, you'll get to hear it, though, John. Jason Jacoby here in Victory Lane at the Monster Mile, and how about that? The monkey finally off your back here in the JGR series.
Thanks, Ben. It's like awesome to be here. Thanks so much to Interstate batteries. I've got one in my car, and they are just awesome, outrageously dependable batteries. And thanks to Joe Gibbs Racing, everyone involved in Sim 500 for putting this on, and everyone. Of course, the biggest ones to thank is everyone watching this. It's really cool to be here, and really cool to, like you said, I guess get the monkey off the back. We've had some really good runs here in sim racing, and it's cool to break through and get the victory in like the biggest thing in sim racing.
Let's talk about that final caution, or the first caution rather. When it came out there, you come down, you're already ahead of Edson and the whole rest of the field as far as when it was going to cycle around, but you come down on the pit road, and two guys who kind of rolled the dice on pit strategy stay out. What's going through your mind, and how you're going to work around them?
You know, Ben, I was thinking, like, all I got to do is really just not worry about it at all. You know, it is what it is, kind of just settle in and try to do a good job. When I got to the back bumper of Trey early on, Trey is a wheelman, by the way. He's up front every race. Anyone who's not familiar with Trey. But it was cool to be able to catch him. But my computer started lagging a bit, so I had to back off him, which is why I lost so much time toward the halfway mark of the race. And then, you know, once we cycled through the pit stops, I was surprised to get that big of a lead on Trey, and we just went out there and then tried to put together some clean laps and had fun doing so. And then when we got the last yellow, or second to last yellow, Ben, like you said, man, the monkey's off my back, because normally in those situations I lose spots, but this time it worked out and we ended up getting the win.
Worked out perfectly, and in victory lane tonight, Mr. Excitement, John calls him, Jason Jacoby. We had we take a short vacation 2 weeks, and then we come back for dirt. How you feel about that?
That's really cool, because I actually don't run dirt that much, but it's going to be a lot of fun to do that for the first time in the league race, and so I'm really looking forward to that. And I heard that Chad Cole is the admin for that. So once again, thanks to admins Joey Gattina, Chad Cole, Brian Wortman. I'm looking forward to dirt. It's going to be fun. But also Ben, right quick, I want to say, hey to all my fellow Kyle Busch fans out there watching and rooting me on. Really cool to have everyone watching again.
Awesome, Jason. Who do you want to thank for putting you in victory lane tonight?
I'd like to thank all my viewers over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/jjacoby88, but everyone watching on the Joe Gibbs Racing stream. And also, I have a website, simracingjason.com. You can find out all about my sponsors who help out as well. As far as if you need a brand new computer to go iRacing with, the best deals are available on my website. You can find out who to contact for that. The reason I had lag on this computer is because it was kind of rushed out to me because we had to get it last minute. My builder wanted to get me something better. But anyway, guys, yeah, simracingjason.com, racing without the G, and we'll see if hopefully you guys can get into iRacing if you haven't done it yet. My sponsor for computers, guaranteed lowest prices.
There you go. Jason Jacoby, winner here at Dover. And boy, John, good to see. Finally gets the monkey off of his back in the JGR Off-Season Sim Series, powered by Interstate batteries, and in Sim 500 competition.
Tell you what, Ben, if it holds like it has for the last couple of weeks with this series, the replay over on the JGR Facebook page gets about 40,000 views. So Jacoby just picked himself up a victory in front of a whole bunch of people.
Absolutely. And if you're watching the race tonight and want to tune into the replay, all you have to do is wait for us to close the broadcast down, and then we'll. Then it will be available on the Joe Gibbs Racing Facebook page. It will be available on our YouTube, youtube.com/The Sim Racing Network. So, just an unbelievable race again, John. A spectacular show these guys put on from the Monster Mile. We were kind of shocked at the beginning of the night that this track was even voted for. We were almost 100% sure we were going to Darlington or Iowa, but man, the fans came out, and I think they were right on this one, John. I think they picked a good one.
Absolutely, Ben. Pleasantly surprised, and very pleasantly surprised, as a matter of fact, that this race went like it did. It wasn't the wreck fest that, let's be honest, we've both been in open racing on iRacing service, and sometimes Dover can really reach up and bite somebody in the butt, man. But these guys didn't have any practice on this track hardly at all, and they put out an outstanding race. They were patient with each other. They were, they gave and gave and took when they had to, but didn't take, in a pretty nasty way. So I was very impressed with these guys. But every week these guys get better and better and better. And I'm just saying, Chad, I've been doing this for a long time, my friend. Way back with Papyrus as NASCAR racing first came out, and to see the level of driver we have in this series and the Sim 500 FEG series is very impressive.
It's awesome to see. Remember, we take 2 weeks off, and then when we come back, we're dirt racing in the midget and
slinging mud, baby.
There you go. Well, you can find out all the info and see who all finished where over at sim500.com. John, we head to Indianapolis tomorrow in the Sim 500 FEG series, but like I said, here for the JGR series, 2 weeks off. Hope you have a good Christmas, John. Any special plans?
Oh, Ben, you know what? I'm just, what's going on in my life with my wife and daughter's accident. I'm just thankful that they're still here, and I'm looking forward to spending an evening with them in front of a nice, well-stoked fireplace. Looking forward to tomorrow night's Indy race, and I really want to take a minute, Ben, if you don't mind, just to thank Mitch Rollo, our producer. He's behind the scenes every week for us, does an outstanding job, and I'm looking forward to the break, to be honest with you, to give my ears a little rest, Ben. But I'll be out there painting cars for everybody, and doing tomorrow night's broadcast with you. But how about you, buddy? What do you guys got planned for Christmas?
We're going to take a short vacation up to Gallenberg a couple days before Christmas, and just gonna have a great time with some family on Christmas Day, and of course eat a lot of turkey and a whole plethora of good food.
You gonna go find you some deep fried Oreos?
hopefully Let us know what you're gonna get for Christmas on the Joe Gibbs Racing Facebook page there. Let us know how you're spending it with your family, and by all means, from all of us here at the Sim Racing Network and iRacing.com, we hope you do have the best Christmas possible. So for everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing, Mitch Rollo, John Mushton, Sim 500, Joey Gattina and the guys over there, we thank you for tuning in tonight from the Monster Mile. We'll see you in 2 weeks on the dirt right here on the Sim Racing Network. Good night. Hope you have a great Christmas, and remember, when you're out there on the roads, to put that phone down. We'll see you next time.